Welcome to the Innovation World Podcast, your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Launch Network. This is Carmine Danisco, your co-host for today's show of Innovation World. We got a special treat for everyone today. We have a guest co-host, Mr. Jake Medelson. Hey, Jake, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, I'm even more excited because we have an incredibly special guest, period. Forget about the co-host, which isn't that important, but we have a wonderful young man who's going to be talking to us about what he has created, something really interesting. So I can't wait till we get to that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's, this is fresh off the Global Innovation Field Trip. I know that we got a bunch of cool stuff that we saw, a bunch of information. We're going to be bringing some of those presenters and stuff on the show in the future. But what did you think about that show? That event was awesome. What I particularly liked was the guest hosts.
Yes, we had some guest hosts that were adults. We had some guest hosts that were students. And I want to tell you, they were really good. I mean, talk about stage presence and ability and maturity. It's just amazing. I can't even imagine where they're going to be going in their lives with that kind of a ability so young.
Yeah, I mean, we even had a few little glitches in here and there, and they just picked it up like it was nothing, right?
Well, no, wait a minute. Let me explain. Those glitches were not accidents. We do that deliberately just to test and see how well that they are doing. And in fact, I predict that we may have one or two of those deliberate accidents during this podcast. Carmine, just to keep you on your toes.
Okay. That's awesome. That's great, man. Well, Jake, just for the listeners, most people on this particular show probably have known you or seen you, but real quick, just give a little rundown of what you do.
I know
it can't be quick because you do a lot. I know.
Well, no. Here's the story. Many years ago, I worked for a living. And then I decided, the heck with that. I'm not doing that. And I wrote down all the things that I really enjoyed doing and said, that's what I'm going to be doing. And Frankly, sometimes you can make money doing it and sometimes you can't, but you're always having fun. And if you're not having fun, what's the sense of doing it? So, I mean, if you want money, you just go rob a bank. I mean, that's the problem with money. So in answer to your question is, I am lucky enough to be involved with some incredible people all around the world, yourself included. Part of this Global Innovation Field Trip, which literally brings students and educators from around the world. There were 16 different countries. There were 80 different presentations a few weeks ago. From students, we're going to hear from one of them later on today, but incredible students doing all kinds of innovative, creative, clever things that are going to make the world a better place. Yeah. And I get to claim that I helped them out. So I get to claim that, I helped Albert Einstein with third grade math, It's wonderful.
Well, that was one thing that I loved about the event is seeing the coolest inventions that I believe, like you said, many of those are going to go on and we're going to see them in the market. We're going to see them helping people in the environment and really be out there. I mean, there was some insane stuff that I even mentioned, when I was in that grade, say fourth grade or sixth grade, I was making bird cages, but there's people making drones and electronics and robots. And I feel like I missed out when I was a kid.
No, you didn't, Carmine. You didn't miss out. You maybe only reached a certain level, but that's okay. The truth is, when you talk to anybody who's really successful in what they've been doing, you'll find that they've been doing this all their life, even as a child. It doesn't matter what they are. If they're an innovator or an inventor, they've been inventing and building when they were, in second grade and in third grade. If you talk to a musician, they've been working with music since they were a child, a dancer, a writer. And so what we're doing with this innovation, field trip is giving these students a chance to have a platform for what they're doing. We're really not changing their lives as more or less putting a spotlight on them and giving them credit for what they've done so far, but even more importantly, then to encourage them, because we're going to be talking to Mr. Mubarak in a few minutes, and what he has done right now is fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as fantastic as what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And next and next and next. and he'll look back on this particular device and say, oh yeah, well, that was just something I did as a kid. But now look what I've done now. And that's what makes me so happy.
Yeah.
We're helping them grow and support.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. And you put it better than I was thinking about it. Yeah, seeing what they're going to do in the future, it's just amazing. It's going to amaze us. But why don't we bring our guest on, and then let's have Adam.
Okay, excellent. Well, one of the really exciting things was this young man had come up with some sort of a device. Unfortunately, I think I have forgotten what it was. So maybe he'll be kind enough to explain to us a little bit about what he created and why it's valuable. This is Abdullah Mubarak. Mr. Mubarak, the platform is yours.
Abdullah, yeah, baby.
Hi, thank you. So I invented the pay-per-view bike. So basically what it is, it's like a bicycle that generates electricity for children. So what it does is, because now we have a huge problem in our society where children, teenagers are spending numerous unhealthy hours on electronics. So the pay-per-view bike will help set a limit to their screen time, and that they will earn their screen time by generating like the electricity needed. So, and that's where the word actually, the term pay-per-view comes from. As you might be familiar with pay-per-view, where like you have to pay money to view something. So with here, it's pay-per-view. So if you want to view on like a screen, you have to play in order to earn your time. So that's basically what the pay-per-view does. The pay-per-view bike does. It also improves the physical health of the users by letting them pedal, which has a lot of health benefits, and it improves their social health because unlike most bicycle generators, it has 2 seats, and so they can like bike together, whether it's a child or adult, whether it's a friend or a family member. And also, unlike many other bicycle generators, it has an app which makes it fun like for the users to use and encourage them to play more and more on the bike. And also the app will let you play with other pay-per-view bikes like globally, so you don't have to have a physical buddy next to you. So that's mostly what the pay-per-view bike is.
I see you have some pictures behind you. Can you show us a little bit more information about it?
Oh yes, okay, this is my board. I don't know whether I can bring the board here. So here's some pictures of the pay-per-view bike itself, like and it's different parts. I don't know if it's clear.
Yes, we can see.
Oh yeah, and here's another picture of the pay-per-view bike. This is like a 3D model, because I drew some sketches of it, but I want to make it look more professional, since like building this whole thing would be like pretty hard. So and here's some pictures of when I actually like tried to build a prototype. Like here's the bike pedal chainring, the blocking diode, the inverter that I bought, and when I was testing with the wires and everything. And here's the motor, and here's another picture of the motor or generator, and here's the batteries over there that are connected in series. And then here's a picture of the app, how the app will look. So it will display like a bike on the screen that will mimic the speed of the user. And then here's some other pictures of the pay-per-view bike over there.
Wow.
So yeah, I tried to make it like blue and like kid-friendly colors, because the whole point of the pay-per-view bike is to make it kids-friendly, and like so they don't feel like it's a machine, so they feel like it's a toy, you know.
Very good.
Yeah, and then here's a picture of me on the prototype, where it actually generated electricity. So instead of getting all these stuff, we actually just got a bike and hooked up the like motor on it and got a bike stand and everything. And here you can see the lamp is turned on, and here's the inverter, and it's charging iPads and phones. And so yeah, and then here the batteries that were being stored by the electricity.
So how did you learn how to do this?
Well, it took a lot of research. I had to research a lot online, and also interview like many other people, like engineers and professors. There's actually a professor of electrical engineering in my local university that he helped me a lot, and yeah. And here is
Oh yeah.
the actual physical like
Can you bring it
model.
closer so we can see it?
Yeah, maybe I can.
Or bring your computer closer to it.
Yeah, I have a camera.
That's a mini prototype you made, Abdullah?
Yeah.
Because that's not the one that you had in your picture riding and powered the little light.
No. This was because whenever we had the regional science fair, because I couldn't bring the actual bike there, and so I want to make like it smaller. So.
It's awesome that you made different versions of it.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
oh,
so
we can see it. This is perfect.
Yeah, and then these are all the wires. Here's the regulator. If the circuit isn't up and running.
Abdullah, can you start in the very beginning and point out what all the different parts are and what they do?
Yeah, and how it works. Yeah, go through it.
Okay. So here are the pedals. Of course, there will be a seat. And so when the pedals like move, then the motor will start spinning. The chain's connected to the motor. So what the motor will do is it will turn the mechanical energy into electrical energy.
Abdullah, don't motors turn electrical energy into motion?
Well, they do both, actually. So in this case, it's not being used as a motor, but rather as a generator.
Ah.
And so that's actually why there are these blocking diodes here, to prevent the motor, as you said, turning the electrical energy into motion. Because we don't want the motors to be like spinning by themselves. So the blocking diodes will ensure electricity comes out of the motors and not into them.
How do the blocking diodes do that? What do they do?
You can think of them like a water valve. They ensure that electricity goes in one direction. So they have like a system that blocks electricity in one that direction. So, and also there's like an amperage. Like you can have the amperage go over like 30 amps or yeah.
Wow.
And then he since I only have one motor, I put here other motor. You can assume this is motor 2, because as I said, there will be 2 pedals. So for each pedal, there will be one motor. And the voltage coming out of the motors will be regulated with this voltage regulator right here. So they make sure the output is just 24 volts DC, which is enough for to charge these batteries here.
Wow. Hey, Abdullah, so do the motors cause the pedals to be harder to pedal, or that it doesn't really affect it?
Well, I don't think it really affects that, except, you know, in the motor, many times they put a gearbox, which changes the ratio of rotation. So like one full revolution equals. So if you just increase the revolutions, then it'll make it harder to pedal, because you have to put more force to increase the RPM.
Wow, Jake, he made this thing, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a prototype of the circuit. But what I want to do next is actually build how it is in the picture, and to start selling it, because the whole point of the pay-per-view bike is to help make the world a better place. So in order to do that, you know, it has to be known to the people, and you know, to be used by them.
Wow.
Very good. Very good.
It's unbelievable.
Abdullah, can you come back onto the screen? That little camera is great.
There he is.
So if you don't mind, I'm just going to get up on a platform for a second to make a speech. What I think is really important is what you have done here. for three different things. It's having three very important effects. One of them you mentioned is electrical. It's creating electricity, which is great, energy conservation, everything else. The other thing you mentioned is it's giving the students physical exercise, which is great. There's one more thing that it's doing. Do you have any idea? It's changing the way the students think about themselves and their place in the world. When you're a child, electricity is magic. You plug it in, you get electricity. It's free. Nothing happens, okay? It just comes to you, okay? Now, all of a sudden, the students are very subtly realizing it's not free. It has to be made, and they made it. They are changing their world. The things that they do, being on that bicycle, are impacting the world. And I know this is not a great revelation. It's a little subtle thing that'll be in the back of their heads, and they're starting to think, oh, my actions have consequences in the world. My positive actions have positive consequences. Maybe my negative actions have negative consequences. I need to start paying attention to what I do. And I really think a device like this is important because it starts to get that into the students' heads. Frankly, I wish there were some adults who could ride your bicycle. I think that would help them too, but that's another story. I think this is fantastic because it's hitting the three important parts.
Wow. I didn't look at it like that, Jake, but that is true. When I think back, watching even my kids, they just plug things in, working, no thought at all.
It's free. It's magic. There's little elves. No, there's not. Somebody had to make it, and they're making a positive contribution to the world.
Yeah. Hey, Abdullah, also, and I'm sure you've thought of this, is countries that have problems generating electricity. Sometimes there isn't electricity in their town or their city or whatever. It's a great little product for that.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Huh. Because we, Jake, remember we had a few during the innovation field trip where we were trying to time it, where there was some little towns, they only had what electricity a few hours of the day.
Yeah, and maybe not even every day. It's a much more common problem than we realize here in the United States. Even part of the United States, it's a problem. So absolutely. This is a great idea.
Yeah. So Abdullah, what's next? I mean, I know you've been talking about this. You're psyched about it. Everyone's looking at it, and everyone, I'm sure, is giving you advice what to do. What's next? Like, where do you want to take this product?
So I want to actually start selling it. Like maybe first I can start like locally, and then it can become across the country. Because I have many people actually that told me like I'm willing to buy it, but the problem is the price. Like people aren't gonna buy it if it's like $700 to $1,000. So I want to try to make it where like the price is cheap, like $200, $300 so people are actually willing to buy it, like cheap but durable. And
so go ahead, Jake. I know what you're going to say.
I don't know, but Abdullah, go back to that university that you went to, and they probably have a business department, okay, a school of business there, where they will an economics department, and you need to sit down with some of those professors and get advice about writing a business plan. How to write a proposal. Maybe you can get some funding from somebody to help you finance this thing, but there'll be people at that university who can help you do that. And, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was also a little bit tempted to like start selling it without a patent, but I don't think that would be a good idea, because if I sell without a patent, there's a possibility of like companies or people, stealing the idea and making like millions of it.
Yeah, but you can't worry about that. I'm not saying don't get a patent, okay? And I'm not a patent attorney, so I can't tell you whether you can or can't get one, okay? But I'm saying whether you get one or not, you need to start putting together a business plan, a model. How are you going to do this? Figuring out price points. You need to start looking at other things like this. There are people selling bicycles. What does a bicycle cost, and try and find out what other people are doing. Have you ever heard of a company called Peloton?
Excuse me?
Peloton?
Peloton?
Okay. They are selling exercise bicycles. It does not do what yours does. Okay. But you need to look that company up and see what they're doing, where their bicycles come from. They may be making their bicycle. Maybe they're buying it from somebody else. I don't know. But find out where all those parts are coming from and start to put together a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw some similar like ideas like similar to mine. There's one where like for people with ADHD in schools, for kids that like they're very hyper. So in order for them to focus, their seat is actually like a bicycle. So they're like pedaling during the class, and not only that, their pedal generates electricity for the school. So that's a little bit similar to mine, not exactly.
I know everyone's in love with a patent, but I mean, how many car companies are there in the world? And nobody has a patent on a car. How many people are making toothbrushes? Nobody has a patent on a toothbrush. So, you can still go ahead and become very successful with this, and maybe the patent might be a small part of something.
Yeah, and Abdullah, we'll talk at some point after this show. But Jake hits it right on the nose, and I know that you are taught to do things in a certain order. But the main goal is really that even with a patent, it's very hard to protect your proprietary ideas because it costs a lot of money to protect it. So the patent office, and as Jake said, we're not patent attorneys, and patent attorneys are great guys. I mean, guys and girls, we need them. But the trick is that your patent is only as good as the funding that you have behind it to protect it, because the patent office is not the patent police. So as Jake said, don't worry about that. It's 1,000,000%, but we're not saying don't get a patent. There's ways around. You can get a provisional patent. You can get started, get a provisional patent. It'll lock in your idea. There's a lot of cool ways that you can do it. But what I don't want you to worry, and Jake was kind of going towards this, don't worry about the cost of your product. Remember that the car Teslas were super high priced when they first started. Just like Pelotons were very high priced when they first started, because you need those first versions to get out there. You need those people that will always pay that extra fee, that extra cost to be new, to be innovative, to be the first. And those are your clients to go after first. Don't worry about getting the price down, because the only way to get the price down is when you manufacture a lot of them. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's a great product, and you're going about it the right way. But what Jake and I are trying to do is get the fear right out of your brain, because if you are super successful, someone is going to copy you. You just have to do a good job, deliver a good product, and you will have your followers.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I'm going to say, which is going to sound terrible, is, Abdullah, I don't care about this product. Okay? This is your first one. What really excites me is the one after this and the one after that. You may not even know what they are, but you're going to use this experience as a training grounds, and you're going to do some things right, and you're going to do some things wrong. And that's wonderful, because you will learn and learn and learn. Yeah. Do you think that car was the first thing Elon Musk ever came up with? No, guaranteed.
Exactly, Jake. Perfect. That is exactly right, Jake. And you actually want to fail. People in this country, and Jake knows it, they're scared of failure. They're scared to say something didn't work. I mean, embrace that you at least trying things. They didn't work, but you learn from it every time. I come in from work someday, I'm driving in the car, I come into my office and I start building something and it doesn't work, but I tried it, because if I didn't, I would have been thinking about it the whole time. But like Jake said, so Abdullah, what's next for you? Are you looking to get into any certain school? What are you looking to do when you get older?
Well, to like just make more inventions and on all aspects, like electronic, to help humanity and to help make the world a better place.
That's great. That's great. We love hearing that, right, Jake?
Absolutely. Especially since I live in that world that he's taking care of. Well, if I didn't live, I wouldn't care. But you're talking about this world, right? Other world. This world. Yeah. Good. Yeah. That's important. Okay. I'm selfish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very good. No, that's great, Jake. Any other ideas that you can talk about? to us that you don't want to give away the farm on?
Yeah, another problem I was having is like building it. You know, whether I should go to like a manufacturer first or whether I like, because I have some like engineering skills, so I don't know whether like I could build it or find somebody.
Yeah.
There's something called an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. You're going to want to go to that university and ask them about NDAs, and they will show you what a sample of that looks like. But when you go talk to a manufacturer or an engineer to help you with an issue, you want to get people to sign NDAs, and it just protects you a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, Abdullah. And there's a couple different paths that you can go on. You can go to licensing your great ideas to a company, as Jake knows, or you can go the manufacturing route, or you could do hybrids. The main goal is, you have an idea and keep moving forward. Even if you try to license and it doesn't work, it was a great learning process. If you try manufacturing, it doesn't work, it's okay. But as long as you're doing something, you can always pivot. But being stagnant and standing still for fear, down the road, you'll be mad at yourself. So always be moving forward, trying to do something. And you are. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, right, Jake? I mean, he's doing stuff that.
I remember when I was a kid, I'd watch these cartoons, and they had the little guy run over the cliff, and he keeps running as faster, and he's staying, he doesn't fall down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he realizes it, and he stops running, and then he falls.
Yeah.
I always used to laugh at that, but the truth is that's exactly what the world is like. As long as you're running, you'll stay up there. As soon as you stop, then you fall.
Start thinking about it, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a good, Jake, this is awesome. You're full of that stuff today.
Oh, I have good ideas. Wow.
No, it's so good. Abdullah, the product is awesome because I love the ability when you're putting two people together, they're competitive or they're working together. They work as a team or separate. Now, will the equipment actually power, like, say, iPads or tablets while they're on them?
Yeah, like mobile devices like phones and tablets, their battery is like they're not too high of like an amperage or it's very low, so it's easy to generate enough electricity to charge like a mobile device. But then you have things like TVs, Xboxes; those require much more electricity.
Yeah, of course. Now, do you foresee, and Jake, he might have talked about this, so stop me if not. Do you foresee having like some type of storage within a house that with this equipment, you're storing power within a battery system, or does it put it right back into the circuit? How does that work?
Yeah. Well, there's gonna be like a portable battery box that's like you when you want to charge it, you put it in like the bike. And then once you're done charging it and you want to use the electricity, you take it out and you bring it to wherever place, whatever room you want, so you can access the electricity that you just generated.
Okay. Then let me give you another suggestion. Instead of using batteries, you might want to check out something called a supercapacitor. You can literally Google supercapacitors, and they're capacitors, only they're super. But it may be a better way of storing the energy and allowing you to carry it from room to room without the weight of a very heavy battery. So it's something to check out.
Yeah. Now, Jake, that's not from Back to the Future, the super capacitor.
No. That in fact, that used to drive me crazy because people go, "Oh, the capacitors in Back to the Future." But no, that's a real device. They're incredible. They're really cheap now. I once bought some. I'm sorry, I'm going to get a little technical. I bought some 4 microfarad supercapacitors, and they were like, $20, and you can get a 4 farad capacitor now for $2.50. So
wow,
they prices have come way down now.
Yeah. See, that's something else, right, Jake, that Abdullah is going to run into. The cost of your product now, as you progress, is going to go down even without you looking for that to happen. And that's one thing that's great about technology.
And he'll also have to check out motors. I know you just grabbed the motor that you happen to find, and that's great. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. But there's lots of different motors, and you need to check and get the specs and find out which is the best one and all the different characteristics. And yes, there's a lot of research ahead of you. But cool. You've got a whole university at your disposal. So this is wonderful.
Yeah. And here I have the wallpaper for my iPad is me like building. The the thing for the pay-per-view bike, and as you can see, there's a bunch of like bicycles around me and screws and stuff. So
Abdullah, let me give you one more piece of advice. Don't worry about bothering these professors, okay? I want to tell you from an educator point of view, from a professor's point of view, there's nothing they enjoy more than some student who is actively interested in what they are teaching and doing and would like information from them. Trust me, they will love that you contact them and ask them questions.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I help out at the University of Tampa, USF here in Florida, also at Hillsborough Community College, and they are constantly not only looking for innovation and inventors, but they love being involved. It's awesome. And Jake, you're right on, no doubt about it. Very cool stuff.
Excellent.
Wow. All right, well, we're going to close up the show. Abdullah, thank you so much for being on. I know we've had you on different events, and you're like a star in these events because of the product and how far you've taken it. And of course, we all want to know, because you have to take it a little further, but we want to be able to follow that progress. So we'd love to invite you back on, say in a few months or whatever, or if something big happens, you make some breakthrough, let us know. We'd love to get you back on. It would be cool to follow this, right, Jake?
Absolutely. And if you're getting ready to do an IPO, we want to know about it.
Yeah. Send us some kind of note. Of course, no insider trading. Just let us know. You know, we won't buy any of the stock. No. Very cool, Abdullah. But listen, Abdullah, also I want to definitely talk to you offline one of these days. We'll get in touch with some people that might be able to help you. Also, love to give you any advice between Jake and I and some other people that we know. I'm sure we'll be able to do whatever, try to fill in those blanks in any way possible. So that's really cool. So, okay, very cool. I'm going to hang up the show. I thank everyone out there for listening today and following us. If you could, please go out to Google Play or iTunes, wherever you get your podcasting content from. Leave us a review, a rating. We'd really love to hear from you. For Abdullah Mubarak, for Mr. Jake Mendelson, and myself, Carmen Danisco, we thank you for listening to Innovation World today, and we will catch you next time. You all take care.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast and your co-host, Julie Shively and Carmine Danisco on the Launch Network. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.